Hey, hello YouTube. I'm Karan from India, and in this video, I'm gonna take a little challenge of 10 minutes to make a simple GUI calculator with clickable buttons on the request of one of our viewers. So, here I have made some setup for starting the tutorial, and I've already executed the stopwatch program by Katur Surya, and I've opened the Sublime text editor. Let us create new folders first and start the project as soon as we can. So I'm gonna name the folder as GUI. Okay, let me rename it GUI Calc, and I'm gonna open that folder. For this purpose I need button function 2.0, so I'm gonna grab that function from here and let me copy and paste all the files. I'm not starting the clock right now. You can see all the shortcuts here because I want to give 10 minutes to the code itself. So as you can see, now it is pasted, and let me create a new text document and rename it as calc.bat and open it with Sublime text editor. So now let me minimize this and maximize the clock. So the basic layout of the calculator should be as the Windows calculator. So we are going to make buttons which has mouse hover enabled, and we can click them and apply operations on them, like 78 plus 2 is 80, something like this. So let's start right now. I'm pressing H and the clock has started. So let's start coding. Write some basic lines, and for this advanced programs we need DC condition. So I'm going to enable delayed expansion, and let me change the title to something like advanced GUI calc, and let us set the size of the window to 80,25 standard CMD size. Let's create a label and create some variables. We need a counter, so I'm setting a count and a dummy variable string. I have created the project earlier, so I have remembered some of those values. So for the sake of saving time, I'm not going to explain those values, but you can ask me in the comment section and I can explain that later. So to complete this project within 10 minutes, I have to create some things without explaining them. So this is not an explanatory video, this is a challenge video, so I'm going to take the challenge. So in these nested loops, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set a string variable, the dummy variable, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save all the values of the buttons in this dummy variable. So here I have inverted the X and Y position because in my previous testing it created some error, so I switched the values and it worked. That's why I'm doing here the same thing. So here I am setting up some buttons, the values of buttons. I'll show you the values later. Just let me set up values. So what I'm going to do here is I'm remembering the value of y in the underscore y variable. So here I'm writing x, but the x contains the value of y according to the algorithm. So let's test if the buttons are getting print or not. Here I'm going to create a loop, so the variable, the value of the user input can be taken again and again. I'm going to disable the keyboard using /i500 because there is no button on your keyboard having the 500 ASCII code, and /m for the mouse input. So here you can see we have not declared the button function, so we need to call the button function first, which can process the values and give us two variables, and we're gonna use those variables for under the get input plugin according to the algorithm. So here I was lost for a while and my recorder broke, so I'm going to record again, but I didn't stop the clock, so we are taking 30 seconds to 40 seconds increment from 10 minutes. And in the button function, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the string variable and going to call the variable as _var, and for the hover I'm going to name them as hover, and under the mouse I'm going to call the var variable, and for the hover I'm going to use /h switch and /hover. So I think from 1 to 10 the button should be printed, so let's test it out. And as you can see it is getting printed, but it seems to be slow because of my antivirus program maybe interfering with these values. So we have printed buttons from 1 to 9. What we need is some plus and minus buttons also. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to create them separately without using the loop, and let me increase the value of y variable by the factor 4, and let's reset the x variable to 1, and again I'm trying to make the code as small as I can, and 5 minutes are almost over. I'll try to make this function as fast as I can, not function, sorry, the program, and I'm thinking as well as speaking, so it's quite difficult because I'm not a good multitasker like some of my friends. And here what I'm going to do is changing the color to the standard, and let's take the value a, and now what we need is we need to increase the x so that it can fit our values. So I think the plus, minus and other buttons should also appear on the screen. Yep. And what we need is we need minus and division. So I'm going to copy the code and again paste it here. Here in this case I'm going to change the value to minus, and almost for the division I'm using D, and for the equal I'm using E, because in my testing they created problems, so I replaced them with characters. It would be easier for me to do that. So now I'm going to let's make a box and add the 20,1. Let me make it outside the loop, and all these values you will know if you will understand the usage and working of these functions. So let me call the button function inside the loop because we need to print the buttons again and again. And here what the action should be taken if the buttons are printed. So I'm going to check the values of error level variable. If the values are less than equal to 9, so first 9 buttons are clicked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the value and let me reset the variable count to 1. We need that counter again and again. That is why I have created that counter variable in the beginning. And now I'm going to add the previous number to the counter so that if user printed user need more than single digit characters, so we can provide it to him or her. So in the 11th case, it is a special button, so we need that 0 button. And let me copy it and paste it again and again. For the rest of the buttons, those are the special buttons. And almost 9 minutes are over. Here I have to set the operation of the counter. And for the first operation, the operation should be plus for the button, and we need to set the value of the count to add 1 into it. So we need to copy all these values and just use the mouse this time to make things faster. And paste everything out. I noticed that I have overwritten a bracket. It may cause some error. In the last equal to result, we're going to make a label named let's say result, and for all the operations we need to specify the characters, like let me save it a star and division. So outside the loop, and we need to go to the top here. So in the result variable we need the result and all 40 seconds offset, so we're gonna need that percentage number, let's say 1, and then we need a for loop for doing that. And here the counter variable again comes into picture, and we are going to add another variable named op for coping with the error that I have faced earlier. So if you will understand this, or you want to understand code excuse me, if you want to understand the code, I can make a separate video on that, but for this tutorial I'm not gonna explain things. I'm trying to do things as fast as I can. And in this result variable we are going to use that result and apply the operation on it. So the operation and the number should be value, and again the number of the value should be a, and I think that is all. So we're going to print the result on the title. Result should be underscore result. So I think that's okay. We have completed the project in taking the offset of 50 seconds in 11 minutes, so we are 1 minute late. Let's see if the calculator works. And it seems to be slow because of my Windows Defender program. The real-time protection is off, and now you can see that if I will execute the program, it will run much faster. So we're going to make simple operations on it. 3. Okay, it is giving me error. Okay, let me check the code again. It's giving me error, so I'll be back soon. Hey, I'm back. So here I have copy pasted the wrong thing. I have copy pasted less than equal to. Here we need equal to. So to compare things, we need to tell the computer that if the value is equal to this, you need to do this operation. So after changing that little problem, I think it should work fine. And after loading all the buttons, I know it is slow, but for learning purpose and it is good. I pressed 5, so it should print 5. It's not printing 5 here. It should print 5 here. Why is it is not printing 5? Is because I forgot to add the code to print 5. So I need to start the clock again. Let's see if how much time it will need to just complete the project. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is a good thing. It tells you where you decide and how much improvement do you need. So we are again using that count variable for our purpose. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the legendary BATbox plugin here, and to make things simpler, I'm just going to print it at something like 23,3, let's say, and the data should be number, and it must be a variable number. So, and here I need to add few things so that if user needs another number, it should progress. So I can't purchase Sublime Text Editor right now, so let's pause the clock and again try it. And now let's print 5, and it's printing 5. Let's make a simple operation of addition and then press 3. So 5 plus 3 should equal to be 8, and the result is on the title 8. And that's all. So that is all for now. Please subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below if you have any query, and don't forget to click that bell.